I first started coming to Hope Now probably in 2008. I was probably about 16 at the time.
We met, almost 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And it's been a beautiful journey.
I didn't plan on even meeting anybody.
Me neither.
We had met at a New Year's Eve party, and I was single. You know what I'm saying? She was single, and we pretty much just talked all night. I was still searching for something, and when I found her, she brought me whole circle. So yeah, I knew then.
And I went to the doctor one day, it was a Thursday, and the doctor came in the room and they were like, "You're pregnant." And I was like, "You're lying," because I didn't believe her at first. He was the first person I called, Jamal, and I told him, and you could hear the joy in his voice when I told him, "Seriously? For real?" I'm like, "Yes, we're pregnant." And he's like, "Oh my God, I gotta call my sister." Honestly, it was a new experience for me being a mother before and kind of having to go through that alone. Having to have somebody there this time around, it made a lot of difference.
This was my chance to right wrongs in my family that I felt like were done to me. I could change everything now. Now here is a brand new start for me and my son, for my future. Seeing a child's birth is something I'll never forget.
You were in the room?
Yes, I was in the room. Yeah, the only thing I wasn't able to do was to deliver my own baby because they wouldn't let me do it or whatnot.
But he tried.
I definitely tried.
I remember when Malaya was first born, they gave her straight to me. With Aiden, I didn't even get skin to skin. They gave him right to Jamal. I don't think they really planned it like that, but he kind of demanded it like that. But just to see, to see our family grow in that moment was an amazing feeling.
I held them and I stared at them, and it was just like seeing yourself. I was so happy I cried, literally.
One day we just noticed, like he was panting, like almost like a dog without water, like literally panting and wheezing.
It's pretty much where you're breathing so hard that your ribs are starting to show.
Mal was telling me that, his mom has a history of asthma, his grandmother has a history of asthma. It runs in the family, so we're thinking it might just be asthma. And so probably after the third day of that, we were like, we need to take him to the emergency room.
They tell us it's not pneumonia, it's not asthma. He has something called Al-Kappa. It's pretty much a heart disease to where the left artery of your heart, your left coronary artery isn't pumping blood to your body, only the right side. He was going to need immediate surgery, and the chances of him living through the surgery, let alone with everything that was going on, was slim to none. It was very devastating to hear.
Yeah. We were signing papers, constantly giving consent to this, giving consent to that. I have this person calling me, that person calling me. It was just literally super fast. And then she told us, "Okay, we're gonna put you in this room over here." So she set us in the room. I wanna say a good 30 minutes had passed, and one of the doctors came in and told us, "Your son's heart stopped." I never knew how much faith I had in God until that day, because I felt like for him to come in that room and tell me the worst thing that I could have possibly heard was happening to my son, to know that I was able to stand fast and trust in God in that moment.
When you have nothing to lean on, these doctors telling me they don't know if they can save him. I can't save him, and I'm his father. That's the worst feeling ever, seeing your son just pretty much perishing in front of you, and there's nothing you could do but watch him. It was hard, but I had to put all my trust in God and know that he was going to take care of my son for me, and that he wouldn't forsake me like that.
And then 45 minutes later, they come in the room and say, "Your son's breathing." It was a miracle. I would never forget it. And after that day, every day, because it was something every day where he had to do this. It was another step, it was another step, it was another step. Every day they would come in there and they'll tell us, well, this could happen, he could pass away. And I would tell them, I know y'all believe in science, but I believe in a higher power, and my God is gonna pull through. Y'all gonna see, he's gonna be a miracle baby. And now that he's living, and the grace and the mercy that God showed us in that moment, I told Jamal, we are so blessed, because he had a rough road and I've had a rough road. And to know that through all the things that we've done, that wasn't the best or weren't the best decisions in our lives, that God still in our most horrifying moment was able to carry us and never forsake us. Like, that's the promise that we live for. And I think that I always knew that, he works in mighty ways, but to actually feel it and be in the room and see that miracle that he's able to perform in a life, something that could never be topped.
He wasn't supposed to make it. He was supposed to die. He coded.
Most don't make it past 15 being brain dead.
Yeah.
And so for the doctor to even spend that much time with him.
Doing CPR was amazing. I think that was an angel. Because, I think certain practices say they're only supposed to try for so many minutes or whatever, and then after that, they just give up. But for whatever reason, this lady said something told her, don't give up. And she just kept trying and trying and trying. And eventually she got a pulse. And she brought my son back, or God brought my son back, let me say. The road to his recovery is still long, still extensive. He's on 6 different medicines just to keep it functioning, but they slowly but surely taking him off of those medicines as we speak. The function of his heart, a normal heart would compulse, I guess, like this, fully, but his heart was barely squeezing. So that was his problem for so long, for pretty much the first year of his life. 3 weeks ago, we went to Valley Children's and they told us his heart function is finally starting to get better, and he has a chance at living an actual normal life. God is good, every day is a blessing. Every day you can't take for granted. I have high hopes for him, and I hope he does none of the things I've done. If I probably wouldn't have never found hope now, I probably wouldn't have been a good enough man to propose to her or to be the dad that I am. I would probably be somewhere either dead or locked up, to be honest with you, because I was on a path to no good. I'm an ex-gang member, I used to sleep with guns and all this stuff, and I didn't have a problem hurting somebody if I had to, but that was an old version of myself. Once I found hope now, they introduced me to God. I already was introduced to God, but I had distanced myself from him, and they just reacquainted us, you know what I mean? And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even have none of the things I've had.
Just seeing the work and the transformation that they were able to do with him. I see some of his old friends and I see the difference in Jamal. I wasn't there obviously when he was 15 or 16, but what he tells me about hope now, it gave him a new life.
Fresno still needs a lot of help, so that's one thing I will say. And coming from the streets, when you're in those streets and there's nobody to pull you out of those streets, it could get lonely and, it could get rough. And that's how a lot of people just end up lost in it, So, just keep giving, whatever you can, you know what I'm saying? It helps.